are solving for x-intercepts, finding factors, just like we've been doing. The deal is you need to graph it, and so you can find if there's any x-intercepts to use. So let's graph it. I've got 2x to the third. I didn't put my 2 there. 2x to the third. There we go. Minus 13x squared plus 30x minus 25. Lo and behold, there we go. And typed it in. Now I'm going to hit zoom 4 because I like to start in the middle there, as low as it can be. Oh, okay. So it looks like this one only has one x-intercept. Let's go down just to be sure. So we'll make this negative 20, positive 20. Why not? Okay. So let's see. Yep, that's it. That is the graph. Okay, so it crosses over here in between 2 and 3. In between 2 and 3. So you can see that graph just like I can. Crosses in between 2 and 3. So, let's find it. So I type in the equation, then I type in 0. Right? 0 is in my y equals. Then I just do second trace down to intersection. Number 5 is intersection. It says, are you on the first curve? And you just move your cursor until you can see it. So yeah, I'm on the first curve. You can see that, right? Let's zoom in. There we go. And then hit enter. It says, are you on the second curve? You can tell you're on the x-axis, so you hit enter. And then it says, guess. Where do you think it is? I think it's right there. And it tells me it is at 2.5. 2.5. That's the x-intercept. Okay, so I know 2.5 is the x-intercept. Now, I want to make this into a fraction. So you know 2.5 is really 5 over 2, right? If you really didn't know that, which is possible, I suppose. You just put 2.5, hit the math button. Look, it says change into a fraction. Say, you want that to be changed into a fraction? I say yes. 5 over 2. Look at that, 5 over 2. Now then, I want to make a factor that I can divide with, right? So 5 over 2 is my x-intercept. These are my x-intercept. This is my x-intercept. If 5 over 2 is my x-intercept, then x minus 5 over 2 is my factor. But remember, factors have to be integers, right? So it can't have a fraction. We have to move that in front, which makes it 2x minus 5. Oh, here. We're going to divide, so we'll put it right here. 2x minus 5. Alrighty. Now then, I have to divide, so 2 goes in there. That looks like x squared to me. X squared times that would be 2x cubed. X squared times that would be minus 5x squared. Then remember, you subtract, so that makes that plus. And then you know 13 minus 5 is 8x squared, negative 8x squared. This goes away. Plus 30. So how do I make that into 8? Well, I have to multiply by negative 4. Negative 4 would make that negative 8. Negative 4 would make that positive 20. All right? We want that to be subtract. That makes that plus, makes that minus. This would give me 10, and that would go away. So the 25 drops down, and 2 times 5, 2 times 5, right? 2 times 5 would be 10. And 5 times 5 would be 25. Subtract, subtract, 0. Yay! And we know it has to end in 0 because it was an x-intercept. All right? So, I said I know I have to write my factors. So 2x minus 5 is one factor, and then x squared minus 4x plus 5 is the other factor. All right, so I have to find the factors. There they are. Now I need to find the zeros. Well, remember this one was 5 over 2. No problem. What is that one? Program quadrat. Remember, if you need it, ask me for it. I will give you the program again. X minus 4 plus 5 turns out to be, hey, 2 plus I and 2 minus I. Alrighty. We have 3 answers, just like we knew we should. Right? We have 2 integer factors, because if you made factors out of this, you'd have imaginary values. That's not allowed. We want real integer factors, right? So we found the real integer factors, and we found all 3 zeros. That's the deal. Let's do it again. Do it again, do it again, do it again. Okay, so let's try this one. 4x to the third minus 3x to the second minus 44x plus 33. Wow, how about that? Okay, first step, grab it, see what we have. So 4x cubed minus 3x squared minus 44x's plus 33. Okay, so we can't see everything, so I think I'll move it up. I can see the x-intercepts. One is between 3 and 4, negative 3 and 4, positive 3 and 4, and between 0 and 1. Okay. So I wanted to change it so I could see the top. So let's make that so let's see if that does something for me. Oh yeah, okay, so I can see the whole thing. Still, crosses between negative 3 and negative 4, crosses between 0 and 1, and then crosses between, what is that, 3 and 4, right? So I always find the middle one, because I find that it helps me. It's not always the easiest one, but this one is especially if these guys are in the same place. Like this is on the outside of negative 3 and this one's on the outside of positive 3. I would definitely find the middle one. So that's what I'm going to do. So second trace, go down to intersection, and it says, are you on the first curve? Yes, I am. You can tell I'm on the quadratic. And then, are you on the second curve? Yes, I am, because you can tell I'm on the x-axis. And then I want the middle one, so that's the one I'm going to take. What do we have there? 0.75? How about that? So 0.75, you make sure you get the same thing I do. Do it on your calculator, make sure you got the same thing. What is that? That's 3/4. Everybody know that's 3/4. So if I do x minus 3/4, remember that's the factor I'm looking for, but it's not the factor I'm looking for because it's not an integer. So I have to move this up here. 4x minus 3. So I'm going to have 4x minus 3, and then I'm going to divide by this whole thing. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So looks like this is a cube. Okay. Looks like x squared to me. X squared times that would be 4x squared minus 3x squared. Well, that's easy. Subtract, subtract, cancel, cancel. Nothing's there, so this drops down, right? So that's 44, negative 44, and positive 33. So how can I make that? Negative 11, it looks like. Negative 11, oops, times 4, negative 11, times that, right? Negative times negative is positive. Then I subtract, right? Well, subtract makes that positive, makes that negative. Goodbye, has to end in 0. Remember, if it's an x-intercept, it ends in 0. So what are the two factors? 4x minus 3, x squared minus 11. Ta-da! All right. So now, what's the answer to this guy? Well, that would be 3/4. We already know that, right? 3/4. What's the answer to this guy? Now remember, this kind is the kind you can do this with if you wanted to. X squared minus 11 equals 0. Add 11. X squared equals 11. So then the square root of 11 or the negative square root of 11 is the answer. Now if you plug it in your calculator, if you use your quadratic formula, you'd do 1 and then you'd put in 0 and then you'd put in negative 11 and it would tell you 3.317, which is just the square root of 11, right? Here, let's zoom in so you can see. 3.317, let me just show you that's the square root of 11. 3.317, ta-da! Whoops, you can't see that. So, if you want to write decimal answers, it doesn't hurt me. If you want to write radical answers, that's okay. 3.317, negative 3.317, right? So we've got 3 answers. This one, this one, this one. That's totally fine. We're supposed to find all the zeros. Real and imaginary. This one had 3 real ones. The last one we did had 1 real and 2 complex, right? Right. So that should be it. You should be able to do today's homework no problem. Bye.